I never thought a broken elevator would save my life. But when those doors closed, trapping me between floors with a stranger who would change everything, I had exactly 12 minutes to decide if I was going to keep running or finally fight back. My name is Elena. 6 months ago, I escaped a relationship that was slowly erasing me. I changed my number. I moved 3 times. I avoided every place I thought he might find me. And then on a Tuesday afternoon, carrying 6 boxes of pastries through the lobby of the most expensive hotel in the city, I heard his voice. Elena. Everything I'd built came crashing down in that moment. Because Victor Hale doesn't let go. He doesn't forgive. And he definitely doesn't forget. I tried to walk away. He grabbed my wrist. I broke free and ran for the elevators, my heart pounding so hard I thought it would explode. The doors were closing. A hand shot out and stopped them. I stumbled inside. And that's when I met him. Dark eyes. Expensive suit. The kind of calm that only comes from real power. He caught my falling boxes without a word. Victor was 10 feet away, walking toward us, rage written all across his face. The stranger looked at him once. Just once. Then he pressed a button and the doors slid shut. We were alone. I thought I was safe. And then the elevator stopped. The lights went out. And I was trapped with a man I didn't know, running from a man who thought he owned me. What happened in those 12 minutes changed everything. The confession I made. The truth he told me. The choice I didn't know I was capable of making. But before I tell you what happened when those doors finally opened, you need to understand something. This isn't a story about being rescued. This is a story about what happens when you realize the only person who can save you is yourself. And it starts with a simple delivery, a chance encounter, and the worst possible timing. If you want to know how a broken elevator, 6 pastry boxes, and 1 impossible decision led to me standing here today, running my own bakery and finally free, then don't click away. Because what I'm about to tell you might just save your life too. Stay with me. I don't belong here. That's the first thing I think when I step through the glass doors of the Astrion Grand. The marble floor under my sneakers costs more than my rent. The chandeliers hanging from the vaulted ceiling could fund my entire bakery dream 3 times over. And the people, they move through this space like they were born into it. Like luxury is oxygen. I'm carrying pastry boxes. 6 of them stacked carefully in my arms, tied with gold ribbon I bought on sale. Inside are miniature lemon tarts with burnt meringue peaks, chocolate eclairs filled with Madagascar vanilla cream, and raspberry macarons that took me 4 tries to get right. They're perfect. They have to be. This delivery is worth 2 months of my usual income. But I shouldn't have come through the front entrance. I know better. I always use the service doors. Always. Safer that way. Less exposure. Less chance of running into people who remember me from a version of my life I've been trying to erase for 6 months. And yet here I am, standing in the center of the lobby, frozen because I heard my name. Elena. That voice. Low. Controlled. The kind of voice that once made me feel chosen. Protected. Until I realized it was a cage. My hands tighten around the boxes. The gold ribbon cuts into my fingers. Don't shake. Don't let him see you shake. I turn slowly. Victor Hale is walking toward me across the marble floor. And time does something strange. It slows down and speeds up simultaneously. I can see every detail. His navy suit. His perfect hair. That smile that used to make me feel special and now makes my skin crawl. He's saying something. His mouth is moving. But all I can hear is my own heartbeat thundering in my ears. 6 months. I've been free for 6 months. And in 3 seconds he's going to close that distance and I'll be right back where I started. No. No, I won't. I broke free once. I can do it again. The elevator is 30 feet away. 25. 20. Victor's hand reaches out. I move. Fast. Faster than I thought possible with 6 boxes in my arms. I can hear him behind me. Elena, wait. We need to talk. You owe me that much. I don't owe him anything. 15 feet. 10. The elevator doors are closing. I'm not going to make it. Wait. My voice cracks. Desperate. A hand appears between the doors. Strong. Steady. The doors reverse. I lunge forward, gasping, and that's when everything goes wrong. My foot catches. The boxes slip. $300 of pastries are about to hit the ground, And I can't afford that. I can't afford to lose this client. I can't. Someone catches them. Not frantically. Not clumsily. Just reaches out and takes them from my arms like it's the easiest thing in the world. I look up. The man holding my pastries is tall. Dark hair. Dark eyes. Mid-30s maybe. His suit probably costs more than my car. But it's his face that stops me. Calm. Unreadable. The kind of calm that comes from real power, not pretending. You okay? His voice is low. Quiet. Like we have all the time in the world. We don't. I can see Victor in the lobby moving toward us. His expression has shifted. Not concerned anymore. Angry. Please, I whisper. Close the door. The stranger's eyes flick past me. Land on Victor. Something changes in his face. Not fear. Not surprise. Just awareness. Recognition of a threat. He doesn't say a word. Just reaches out with his free hand and presses a button. The elevator doors slide shut. I watch through the narrowing gap as Victor's face contorts. He's saying something. Maybe yelling. I can't hear it over the pounding in my ears. And then the doors close completely. It's just me and this stranger in a small mirrored box. My legs give out. I slide down the wall until I'm sitting on the floor, head between my knees, trying to remember how to breathe. In, out, in, out. The stranger doesn't speak. Doesn't crowd me. Just sets my pastry boxes carefully on the floor and presses a button for the penthouse level. The elevator starts to rise. I'm safe. For now. For this moment. I lift my head. The stranger is leaning against the opposite wall, hands in his pockets, watching me with those dark, steady eyes. Thank you, I manage. He nods once. You're welcome. 3rd floor. 4th floor. My breathing is starting to slow. The panic is receding, leaving exhaustion in its wake. I'm sorry, I say. I didn't mean to. You don't need to apologize. 5th floor. 6th floor. The man in the lobby, the stranger says. Not a question. A statement. I nod. X. Something like that. He put his hands on you. It's not a question, but I answer anyway. Yes. And you broke free. I've been practicing. The corners of his mouth lift. Almost a smile. Good. 7th floor. And then the elevator shutters. The lights flicker. Once. Twice. No. No, no, no. Everything goes dark. Emergency lighting kicks in. Red. Dim wrong. The elevator is completely still. What's happening? My voice is too high. Too panicked. The stranger is already at the control panel. He presses the emergency button. Nothing. Presses it again. We're stuck, he says. The walls are closing in. The air is getting thinner. My chest is tight. I'm trapped. In a metal box. Between floors. And Victor is somewhere in this building. Looking for me. Breathe. The stranger's voice cuts through the panic. Look at me. I force myself to meet his eyes. We're not in danger, he says. Calm. Certain. The emergency system will engage within 5 minutes. 10 at most. This hotel has fail-safes. I know because. He pauses. I know. You're sure? I'm sure. He doesn't look worried. Doesn't look stressed. Just leans back against the wall like we're waiting for coffee. Not trapped between floors. You're very calm about this, I say. I don't panic easily. That must be nice. It has its advantages. Despite everything, I almost laugh. The sound comes out choked. Broken. The stranger slides down the wall until he's sitting across from me. 6 feet of space between us. Safe distance. I'm Matteo, he says. Elena. Nice to meet you, Elena. Even under the circumstances. Yeah. Nothing says great first impression like having a panic attack in an elevator. I've seen worse first impressions. Really? Really? We sit in silence for a moment. The emergency lights cast strange shadows. The elevator hums quietly. Waiting. Can I ask you something? Matteo says. Okay. The pastries you're delivering. You made them. I nod. Tell me about them. It's such a strange question that I blink. Why? We're stuck. Might as well talk about something. And I'm curious. So I tell him. About the lemon tarts. the eclairs, the macarons. About sourcing ingredients in failed batches and nights I stayed up until 3 a.m. trying to get everything perfect. He listens. Doesn't interrupt. Doesn't offer unsolicited advice. Just listens. And something about being heard, really heard without judgment or criticism, makes me keep talking. I tell him about my dream. The bakery I want to open. Not trendy. Not Instagram perfect. Just real. A place where people feel welcomed. Where the food is made with care. How long have you been saving? Matteo asks. 3 years. How close are you? Close. Maybe 6 more months. If I keep taking jobs like this one. The one that brought you here. Yeah. I look down at my hands. I usually avoid this hotel. Use the service entrance. But the client offered triple my rate and I couldn't say no. And you didn't expect to see him? No. Thought. I hoped he'd moved on. Men like that don't move on, Matteo says quietly. They just wait. There's something in his voice. Something personal. You sound like you know, I say. I do. Before I can ask more, his phone buzzes. He pulls it out. Reads the screen. They're working on it, he says. Another few minutes. I nod. Pull my knees to my chest. Elena, Matteo says. The man in the lobby. Victor. Has he been harassing you? I hesitate. I don't talk about this. Not with strangers. Not with anyone except Mara. But there's something about Matteo. About being trapped in this small space. About the way he asks without demanding. Yes, I say quietly. For months after I left. Calls. Messages. Showing up at my work. Sending flowers. Stopped eventually. I thought he'd given up. But he hasn't. No. Matteo is quiet for a long moment. Then, when we get out of here, he won't bother you again. You can't know that. His eyes meet mine. There's something in them now. Something cold. Almost dangerous. Yes, he says softly. I can. The elevator shudders. The lights flicker back on. Full power. We're moving again. Matteo stands. Offers me his hand. I take it. His grip is warm. Firm. He pulls me up easily. Your boxes, he says, handing them to me. I take them carefully. Check inside. Everything is perfect. Nothing shifted. The elevator continues to rise. 8th floor. 9th. 10th. Matteo, I say. When we get out, Victor might still be down there. Looking for me. He won't do anything. How can you be sure? Because I'm going to make certain he understands the consequences if he does. The elevator reaches the penthouse level. The doors open. And this is where everything changes. Because standing in the hallway, phone pressed to his ear, is a man in a hotel uniform. He sees Matteo and his eyes widen. Mr. Russo, he says. We've been trying to reach you. The elevator malfunction is resolved, Matteo says. Send someone to check the maintenance logs. I want a full report by end of day. Yes, sir. Right away, sir. The man hurries off. I stare at Matteo. Mr. Russo? He meets my eyes. Doesn't flinch. You don't just work here, I say slowly. You own it. Or run it. Or. I own it. The Astroion Grand. One of the most expensive hotels in the city. And Matteo Russo owns it. Which means when he said Victor wouldn't bother me again, he meant it. Because he has the power to make it happen. Come on, Matteo says. Let's get you to your delivery. I follow him down the hall in a daze. Everything looks different now. The marble. The crystal. The gold hardware. This is his. We reach the door at the end. Matteo knocks. A woman answers. Elegant. Mid-50s. Her face lights up when she sees the boxes. Oh, perfect. Come in, come in. I step inside. Make the delivery. Accept payment and praise and a business card. The whole time, I'm aware of Matteo waiting in the hallway. When I come back out, he's on his phone. Speaking quietly. Intensely. He hangs up when he sees me. Everything good? He asks. Yes. She loved them. Wants to hire me again. Of course she does. We walk back to the elevator together. I'm processing. Trying to understand. Why didn't you tell me? I ask. Would it have mattered? I don't know. Maybe. I just. You listen to me talk about my little bakery dream and you own a hotel empire. Your dream isn't little, Matteo says. And I wasn't humoring you. I meant what I said. It's impressive. The elevator arrives. Different one this time. We step inside. He presses the button for the lobby. Victor, I say. You said he won't bother me again. He won't. Because you're going to ban him from the hotel. Already done. I made the call while you were inside. I stare at him. You barely know me. Why would you do that? Because he put his hands on you. Because he scared you. And because I have the power to make sure it doesn't happen again. So I did. The elevator descends. I watch the numbers drop. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. But I do. Because this matters. Because someone with power just used it to protect me, not control me. And that's the difference. Thank you, I say. For everything. The boxes. The company. The protection. You're welcome. The elevator reaches the lobby. The doors open. I step out cautiously. Scan the crowd. No sign of Victor. Matteo follows me out. Immediately, staff members approach him. Questions. Updates. A crisis with a VIP guest. He handles it all with that same steady calm. I start walking toward the exit. Elena. I turn back. Matteo is watching me. Do you have a card? For your baking. I fumble for one. Hand it to him. He looks at it. Tucks it into his jacket. I'll be in touch, he says. And then he's pulled away by his staff, and I'm walking out of the Astrion Grand, through the main doors this time, head high. Victor's car is gone from the valet area. He's really gone. And I survived. More than survived. I'm going to tell you what happened next. How that business card led to investors and mentorship and a relationship that taught me what real partnership looks like. How Victor got arrested. How I opened my bakery. How I built a life I'm proud of. But first, I need you to understand something. This story isn't about Matteo saving me. It's about me learning I was worth saving. Worth protecting. Worth building something for. Matteo just held the door open. I'm the one who walked through it. And what came next changed everything. If you want to know what happens next, and how the story progresses, subscribe, and let's know where you are watching from in the comments, cause we'd like to know how far this story is going. I make it 3 blocks before I have to stop and lean against a building because my hands are shaking again, but this time it's not fear. It's relief. Exhaustion. Something close to hope. I spent 6 months thinking I had to do this alone. That asking for help meant I was weak. That accepting support meant I was giving up control all over again. But Matteo didn't take control. He just stood beside me. Listened. Made space for me to be exactly as strong or as scared as I needed to be. And then he used his power to make sure I was safe. Not because I asked. Not because he wanted something in return. Just because it was the right thing to do. I don't hear from Matteo for 3 days. I think maybe I imagined the whole thing. Maybe he threw my card away the second I left. Maybe he was just being polite. But on the 4th day my phone rings. Unknown number. Hello. Elena? This is Matteo Russo. From the hotel. My heart does something stupid in my chest. Hi. I didn't expect to hear from you. I told you I'd be in touch. Do you have time to meet tomorrow? I have a proposition for you. Proposition. That could mean anything. What kind of proposition? The kind that involves your bakery dream. I know some people who might be interested in investing, but I want to talk to you first. Make sure you're serious. I sit down. Hard. Are you joking? No. Why would you do that? You don't even know me. I know you're talented. I know you're driven. And I know you're smart enough to walk away from situations that aren't good for you. That's enough. I'm quiet for a long moment. Then, there's a catch, isn't there? There's always a catch. No catch. Just business. If you're interested, meet me tomorrow. 2 p.m. There's a coffee shop called Lena's on 5th Street. You know it. I know it. Good. Bring your business plan. If you have one. I have one. I thought you might. He hangs up. I stare at my phone. This is insane. This doesn't happen in real life. Successful hotel owners don't just offer to help random delivery people start bakeries. Except Matteo isn't random. And neither am I. Maybe that's the point. I show up at Lena's at 1:50. Early. Nervous. I've rewritten my business plan twice in the last 24 hours. It's probably terrible. It's probably full of mistakes. But it's mine. Matteo is already there. Sitting at a corner table, 2 coffees in front of him. You're early, he says. So are you. Habit. I sit down. Take the coffee, he slides toward me. It's exactly how I like it. Oat milk, no sugar. How did you know? I ask. I pay attention. Right. Of course he does. I pull out my business plan. 3 years of research, budgets, projections, recipes, suppliers. It's held together with a binder clip and hope. Matteo takes it. Doesn't skim. Actually reads. Flips through pages. Makes notes on his phone. After 10 minutes he looks up. This is good, he says. Really good. You've thought about everything. Location. Overhead. Marketing. Supply chain. Even contingency planning. I've had a lot of time to think about it. Your projected revenue is conservative. You could charge more. I don't want to price out the neighborhood. He considers that. Nods. That's a choice. An admirable one. But it means you'll need to scale carefully. I know. How much do you have saved? I tell him. It's not a lot. But it's everything. You need more, he says. Not just for startup costs. You need a cushion. 6 months of operating expenses at least. Maybe 9. I know. That's why I'm still doing deliveries. Why I took the job at the hotel even though I knew it was risky. Matteo sets the business plan down. Looks at me directly. I'm not going to give you money, he says. My stomach drops. Of course this was too good to be true. But, he continues, I'm going to introduce you to 3 investors I know. People who specialize in small business development. Women-owned businesses specifically. They're tough. They'll ask hard questions. But if they believe in you, they'll back you. Why? The question bursts out of me. Why would you do this? Because you remind me of someone. Who? My mother. She opened a restaurant with nothing. Worked herself to the bone. Made it successful through sheer will. I watched her fight for every inch of that success. I watched her get dismissed by banks, by suppliers, by people who thought a woman with an accent couldn't run a business. He pauses. I swore that if I ever had the means, I'd help people like her. People who have the talent and the drive but not the access. And you think I'm like her? I know you are. I don't know what to say. My throat is tight. There's one condition, Matteo says. There it is. The catch. What? You have to let me mentor you. Business side. Not the baking. I can't help you there. But contracts, negotiations, financial planning, dealing with difficult people, all of that. I'll teach you what I know. That's it? That's the condition. That's it. And you don't want anything else? No equity? No control? No. I look at him. Really look at him. Trying to see the angle. The manipulation. The hidden cost. But all I see is someone who meant what he said. Okay, I say. Yes. I'll do it. Matteo smiles. It's a real smile this time. Warm. Almost proud. Good. The first investor meeting is next week. I'll send you the details. In the meantime, tighten up your financial projections. And practice your pitch. You're going to need it. We finish our coffee. Talk about logistics. Details. Timelines. And then as we're getting ready to leave, Matteo says, how are you doing? After the other day. With Victor. Okay, I say. Better than I expected. I keep looking over my shoulder, but he hasn't tried to contact me. He won't. How can you be sure? Because I made certain he understood the consequences if he did. I want to ask what that means. What Matteo said to him. What kind of power he actually has. But maybe I don't need to know. Maybe it's enough that I feel safe. Thank you, I say. For that. For all of this. You don't need to keep thanking me, Elena. Just build something incredible. That's all the thanks I need. 6 weeks later. I'm standing in front of 3 investors in a sleek conference room. Matteo is sitting in the back. Silent. Observing. I pitch my bakery. My vision. My numbers. My plans. They ask hard questions. Really hard questions. About competition. About scaling. About what happens if I get sick, if my oven breaks, if my supplier goes out of business. I answer every single one. At the end, the lead investor, a woman named Carla with sharp eyes and sharper questions, leans back in her chair. You've clearly done your homework, she says. But I'm still not convinced you understand the reality of restaurant failure rates. 70% close within the first year. I know, I say. That's why I'm not opening a restaurant. I'm opening a bakery. Community-focused. Limited menu. Low overhead. I'm not trying to be trendy. I'm trying to be sustainable. And if you fail anyway, then I'll fail having tried. But I've already survived something harder than this. So I'm willing to take the risk. Carla looks at the other two investors. Something passes between them. We'll be in touch, she says. Matteo walks me out. You did well, he says. I don't know. Carla seemed skeptical. Carla is always skeptical. That's her job. But you answered her questions. You didn't get defensive. That matters. We walk out into the parking lot. The sun is setting, painting the sky orange and pink. Can I ask you something? I say. Always. Why are you really doing this? And don't say it's because I remind you of your mother. There's more to it than that. Matteo is quiet for a long moment. Then, when I was building my business, I had help. People who believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. People who gave me opportunities one didn't think I deserved. I wouldn't be where I am without them. He looks at me. Passing that on isn't charity. It's responsibility. So this is just you paying it forward. Yes. And also, he hesitates. I like seeing people become who they're supposed to be. When they're not being controlled. Not being diminished. Just becoming. Is that what you think I'm doing? I know it is. I saw who you were in that elevator. Scared but not broken. Exhausted but not defeated. That's who you really are. Everything else was just noise. I don't know what to say to that. So I just nod. 3 days later, Carla calls. We're in, she says. 75,000. 12% equity. And we want quarterly reviews. I almost dropped the phone. Are you serious? I don't joke about money. Do we have a deal? Yes. Yes. Yes, we have a deal. I call Matteo immediately. He answers on the second ring. They said yes, I say. My voice is shaking. They said yes. 75,000. I can actually do this. I can actually open my bakery. Congratulations. His voice is warm. Genuinely pleased. When do you sign? Next week. Carla wants to meet to go over the contract. Good. Send me the contract before you sign. I'll review it. You don't have to do that. Elena. Okay. Fine. Thank you. I hang up. Stare at my phone. And then I start crying. Not sad crying. Not scared crying. Just overwhelming relief crying. The kind that comes when something you've wanted for so long finally becomes real. I call Mara next. She screams so loud I have to hold the phone away from my ear. I knew it, she says. I knew you could do this. When do we celebrate? When I actually sign the papers. I don't want to jinx it. Too late. I'm already planning the party. The next week moves in a blur. Meetings with Carla and her team. Contract reviews with Matteo, who catches 3 clauses I would have missed. Paperwork. So much paperwork. And then, on a Tuesday afternoon, I sign my name on a dozen different documents and it's official. I have funding. I have investors. I have a real shot at making this happen. The first thing I do is start looking for spaces. Matteo connects me with a commercial real estate agent who specializes in restaurant properties. Her name is Diana, and she's terrifyingly efficient. What's your budget? She asks. I tell her. She doesn't blink. That's tight but workable. What neighborhood? Somewhere accessible. Not trendy. Somewhere people actually live, not just visit. She nods. I have 3 places to show you. Can you meet tomorrow? The first space is too small. The second is too expensive. The third is in a neighborhood I've never heard of. Tucked between a laundromat and a bookstore. It's perfect. High ceilings. Big windows. Good bones. The kitchen needs work, but nothing I can't handle with the budget. And the rent is just barely within reach. I want it, I tell Diana. Let me negotiate, she says. Don't look too eager. She gets me 2 months free rent and a lower security deposit. When I tell Matteo, he says, that's Diana. She's good. When do you move in? First of the month. Then I have to get equipment, permits, insurance, hire staff. I stop. Take a breath. This is really happening. It is. I'm terrified. Good. That means you're taking it seriously. We're having coffee again. At Lena's. It's become our regular meeting spot. Once a week, sometimes twice, Matteo walks me through business strategy, contract negotiation, crisis management. He teaches me how to read financial statements, how to spot when someone's trying to take advantage, how to say no without apologizing. You need to stop saying sorry so much, he tells me one day. You apologize for asking questions, for taking up time, for existing in a space. Stop. Sorry, I say automatically. Then I catch myself. Noted. He laughs. It's a sound I've only heard a few times. I like it. Better, he says. 3 months later, the bakery is starting to take shape. I've hired 2 part-time staff. Maria, who has 15 years of baking experience and doesn't take nonsense from anyone. And James, fresh out of culinary school, eager and terrified in equal measure. The equipment is installed. Ovens, mixers, cooling racks, display cases. It's still not quite done, but it's close. Matteo stops by one afternoon, unannounced. I'm elbow deep in bread dough, flour in my hair, and I don't hear him come in. Looks good, he says. I jump. Turn. Jesus. You scared me. Sorry. He doesn't look sorry. He's looking around the space with that assessing gaze he gets. You've made a lot of progress. We're on schedule. Barely. Opening in 3 weeks if everything goes right. And if it doesn't? 4 weeks. He nods, walks over to the display case, runs his hand along the counter. This is good work. Thanks. I did some of it myself. The painting. The shelves. Saved money. Smart. We stand there for a moment. The silence isn't uncomfortable. It never is with Matteo. Can I ask you something? I say. Always. Why do you keep helping me? Even now. You've already connected me with investors. You've given me business advice. You've reviewed contracts. You've done more than enough. But you're still here. Matteo is quiet. He leans against the counter, considers the question. I told you before, he says finally. I like seeing people become who they're supposed to be. But it's more than that. Yes. What? He looks at me. Really looks at me. You remind me that good things can come from bad situations. That surviving doesn't mean just existing. It means building something better. Is that what you did? Built something better. I tried. From what? Another pause. Longer this time. Then. My father was a lot like your Victor. Different methods. Same result. Control. Manipulation. Making you think you couldn't survive without him. I set down the dough. Wiped my hands on my apron. What happened? I left. At 17. Worked 3 jobs. Slept in my car for 6 months. Saved every penny. Built my way up from nothing. And when I had enough money, enough power, I made sure he couldn't hurt anyone else the way he hurt my mother. Did it work? Eventually. Do you regret it? Leaving? Never. Best decision I ever made. Even when it was hard. Even when I thought I wouldn't make it. Because I knew that staying would kill me. Maybe not physically, but everything that mattered. That would have died. I understand that. Completely. That's why you helped me, I say. In the elevator. That's why you banned Victor from the hotel. Because you know what it's like. Yes. And now you're helping me build this because you want me to have what you didn't. Someone in your corner. Yes. I walk over to him. Stand close enough to see the flecks of gold in his dark eyes. Thank you, I say quietly. Not just for the business help. For seeing me. For believing I could do this when I wasn't sure I could. You always could, Matteo says. You just needed the right resources. And the right person to point me toward them. Something shifts in the air between us. Something warm. Charged. Matteo's phone buzzes. He checks it. Sighs. I have to go, he says. Hotel emergency. But I'll be back next week. Before your opening. You don't have to come. I want to. He leaves and the bakery feels emptier without him. Opening day arrives too fast and too slow. I've been here since 4 in the morning. Baking bread. Making pastries. Checking everything twice. 3 times. Maria arrives at 6. James at 6:30. You look terrible, Maria says. Thanks. Did you sleep? No. Eat. Not yet. She shoves a croissant at me. Eat. You can't run a bakery if you pass out. I eat the croissant. It's good. Really good. I made these. By 8 we're ready. The sign is on. The door is unlocked. The display cases are full. And no one comes. 8:15. Nothing. 8:30. Nothing. I start to panic. What if no one shows up? What if I've made a huge mistake? What if? Stop, Maria says. It's early. People are still waking up. Give it time. At 8:45 our first customer walks in. An older man. White hair. Kind eyes. You're new here, he says. Brand new. We opened today. Good. We needed a bakery in this neighborhood. The old one closed 3 years ago. I've been driving 15 minutes for decent bread. He buys a loaf of sourdough and 2 croissants. I'll be back tomorrow, he says. And then more people come. A couple with a toddler. A group of teenagers. A woman who orders 6 different pastries because she can't decide. By noon we're sold out of bread. By 2 the display cases are half empty. By closing time we've made twice what I projected for the first day. Mara shows up at 6 with champagne and balloons. I told you, she says. I told you this would work. It's only day 1. And it was perfect. Now drink this and celebrate. We drink champagne out of coffee mugs because I forgot to bring real glasses. Maria and James join us. We toast to the bakery. To new beginnings. To things working out. At 7 there's a knock on the door. I look up. Matteo is standing outside, hands in his pockets. I let him in. Sorry I'm late, he says. How was it? Sold out by 2 p.m. He smiles. A real genuine smile. That's incredible. I couldn't have done it without you. Yes, you could have. It just would have taken longer. He hands me a small wrapped box. Opening gift. I unwrap it carefully. Inside is a small brass plaque. Engraved with words. She believed she could, so she did. My throat tightens. For the wall, Matteo says. If you want it. I love it. We stand there in my bakery, surrounded by empty display cases and flour dust, and the smell of bread still lingering in the air. I'm proud of you, Matteo says quietly. I'm proud of me too. And I am. For the first time in a long time, I'm proud of who I'm becoming. Not who someone else wants me to be. Just me. 6 months pass. The bakery is thriving. We've expanded hours. Hired 2 more staff. Started doing small catering orders. I see Matteo less frequently now. He's busy with the hotel. I'm busy with the bakery. But we still meet for coffee when we can. Still talk about business strategy and life and everything in between. He's become more than a mentor. He's become a friend. And maybe if I'm honest, something more than that. But neither of us has said anything. Neither of us has pushed. We're both too careful. Too aware of what it means to cross that line. One evening after closing, I'm doing inventory when my phone rings. Unknown number. I almost don't answer. But something makes me pick up. Elena Var? A woman's voice. Professional. Yes. This is Detective Sarah Chun. I'm calling about Victor Hale. My stomach drops. What about him? He was arrested this morning. Multiple charges. Stalking. Harassment. 1 case of assault. We're building a case and several women have come forward. Your name appeared in some documentation we recovered from his apartment. Specifically, a file containing photos, your old address, your work schedule from 6 months ago. I sit down. Hard. He was tracking me. Yes. I'm sorry. I know this is difficult to hear. But we wanted to notify you in case you've experienced any recent contact or felt unsafe. And to let you know that he's currently in custody. Bail was denied. I can't speak. My throat won't work. Ms. Var? Are you there? Yes. I'm here. I thank you for telling me. If you're willing, we'd like to take a statement about your relationship with him. It would help strengthen the case. I'll do it. Whatever you need. She gives me details. Time. A place. I hang up and sit in the silent bakery trying to process. Victor was tracking me. For 6 months. I thought I was safe. I thought I'd escaped. But I hadn't really been free at all. I call Matteo. He answers immediately. Elena? What's wrong? I tell him. Everything. The detective. The file. The arrest. He's quiet for a long moment. Then. Where are you? The bakery. Stay there. I'm coming. He arrives 20 minutes later. I haven't moved. Haven't turned on any lights except the one in the kitchen. Matteo sits down next to me. Doesn't touch me. Just sits. I thought I was done with him. I say finally. I thought I'd moved on. Built something new. But he was there the whole time. Watching. Waiting. But he never got to you. Only because you banned him from the hotel. Only because I got lucky that day. No. Because you were smart. Because you were careful. Because you didn't let fear stop you from building this. He gestures around the bakery. Victor didn't take this from you. You still won. It doesn't feel like winning. It will. Eventually. We sit in silence for a while. The kind of silence that feels safe. Solid. Will you come with me? I ask. To give the statement? Of course. And he does. 3 days later, he sits in the waiting room while I tell a detective everything. Every moment of control. Every manipulation. Every time I thought it was my fault. Takes 2 hours. When I come out, Matteo stands immediately. How are you? Tired. But okay. She said there are 4 other women. 4 women he did this to. And they're all testifying. Good. He won't get away with it this time. We walk out of the police station together. The sun is setting. The sky is pink and orange. Can I take you to dinner? Matteo asks. You shouldn't be alone tonight. Okay. We go to a small Italian place. Quiet. Dim lighting. Matteo orders wine. I order pasta I barely touch. You should eat, he says. I know. Elena. I look up. He's watching me with that steady gaze. The one that makes me feel seen. I need to tell you something, he says. My heart does something complicated in my chest. Okay. These past few months working with you, watching you build this life you wanted. It's been the best part of my year. Maybe the best part of several years. I set down my fork. Matteo. Let me finish. I told myself I was just mentoring you. Just helping someone who deserved a chance. But that's not the whole truth. The truth is that I care about you. More than a mentor should. More than a friend would. And I've been trying to figure out if that's appropriate. If that's fair to you. If that's something you'd even want. My hands are shaking. You're saying you have feelings for me. Yes. For how long? Since the elevator. Maybe before. The moment you broke Victor's grip and walked away. I saw someone who knew her own worth. Who wouldn't let anyone take it from her. That stayed with me. I don't know what to say. My brain feels like static. I'm not asking for anything, Matteo continues. I know you've been through a lot. I know trust is complicated for you right now. I just needed you to know. So you're not wondering. So it's not a secret between us. I care about you too, I say quietly. His eyes widen slightly. You do. Yes. But I'm terrified. Because the last time I let someone in, it almost destroyed me. And I don't know if I'm ready. If I'm healed enough. If I even know how to do this without. Without what? Without losing myself again. Matteo reaches across the table. Stops just short of taking my hand. Waits. I put my hand in his. His grip is warm. Steady. Not controlling. Just present. You won't lose yourself, he says. Not with me. Because I don't want to change you. I like exactly who you are. The woman who makes perfect macarons and runs her own business and isn't afraid to set boundaries. That's who I care about. Not some version I think you should be. How do I know that's true? You test it. You push back. You see what happens when you say no. When you disagree. When you need space. And if I ever make you feel small or controlled or less than, you leave. No guilt. No apology. Just leave. Because you've already proven you can. I'm crying now. Quiet tears running down my face. I want to try, I say. I want to try this. With you. But slowly. Really slowly. As slow as you need. And if I freak out, then you freak out. And we talk about it. And we figure it out together. Okay. 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 He smiles. Squeezes my hand gently. We finish dinner. He drives me home. Walks me to my door. Good night, Elena, he says. Good night, Matteo. He doesn't kiss me. Doesn't push. Just waits until I'm inside, until I lock the door, until I turn on the lights. And then he leaves. I lean against the door and smile. Maybe this is what healing looks like. Not perfect. Not easy. But possible. 1 year later. The bakery has a line out the door most mornings. We've been featured in 3 local publications. Carla and her investors are happy. I'm profitable. And I'm happy. Really genuinely happy. Matteo and I are together. Officially. It took 4 months of slow dating before I was ready to call it that. Before I could say boyfriend, without feeling like I was giving something up. But I didn't give anything up. I gained someone who shows up. Who listens. Who celebrates my wins and supports me through my losses and never, not once, makes me feel like I owe him anything. Victor was convicted. 8 years. It won't undo what he did, but it's something. The other women who testified are healing too. We have a group chat now. We check in on each other. I still have bad days. Days where I doubt myself. Days where I wake up anxious for no reason. Days where I want to cancel everything and hide. But those days are fewer now. And on those days I remember what Matteo said in the elevator. Surviving doesn't mean just existing. It means building something better. I built something better. I built a bakery that feeds people. That gives them a place to gather. That makes them feel welcomed. I built a life that's mine. Not controlled by anyone else. Not small. Not scared. I built myself back. Piece by piece. Pastry by pastry. And I'm proud of that. So if you're out there and you're in a situation like I was, know this. Leaving is terrifying. Starting over is exhausting. Building something new from nothing feels impossible. But it's not. You're stronger than you think. You're more capable than they told you. You're worthy of more than survival. You're worthy of a life that's yours. And if I can do it, so can you. One step. One day. One choice at a time. You've got this. Now, if this story resonated with you, if you see yourself in Elena's journey, or if you know someone who needs to hear this, share this video. Comment below with your own story of starting over. Let's build a community of people who chose themselves. And remember, the best revenge isn't getting even. It's building something so beautiful, so authentically yours, that you forget why you needed revenge in the first place. I'm Elena. This is my story. And yours is just beginning. If you love this story, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next story coming up shortly, because we post news stories daily. See you in the next video.